Hello, now we are going to look at how to use the thumb push cut. Whenever we want to use our knife for any reason, we make sure we have our first aid kit out and with us. We have our trained first aider and their training is in date and everyone knows who that first aider is. And finally, before we take our knives out, we make sure that our blood circle is clear. The arm span around and behind us is completely clear of anyone. When we've done that, we can take our knives out of our sheaths. Where we would use the thumb push cut is for detailed work. So say if I wanted to go from the blade of this spatula down to the handle, this curved section here requires me to have a lot of control over how the knife is moving over a very short distance. And that's where the thumb push cut can really help us, where we have to do very fine work over short distances. So the way the thumb push cut is going to work is we're going to push with the thumb of our non-dominant hand, a hand that is holding the piece of timber. So if I check my blood circle, I can take my knife out of my sheath. When I'm doing the thumb push cut, my knees sit apart and my elbows sit out on my knees. I want to make sure I keep my back straight when I'm doing that, or I'll end up putting a crink in my back over time. So knees apart, elbows out on knees. That gives me the posture I'm always going to have for doing the thumb push cut. And one of the great advantages of the thumb push cut is that this posture is always how we would sit. So if we're doing a group activity and we see that someone is doing detailed carving, or we're all doing detailed carving, and someone isn't sitting like this, it can tip us off something might be going wrong. So knees apart, elbows out on our knees is how we always sit for our thumb push cut. When we want to do the thumb push cut, there's two different styles of it. The first one is that if we are going to put the piece of timber up near the handle of the knife, we're going to put our thumb near the handle of the knife, so down on the spine of the knife, or the back of the knife is where we're going to push. And we're going to push with the thumb of our non-dominant hand. So the hand holding the timber does the pushing, and the knife hand does not do any pushing. The knife hand is just guiding the direction of the knife, but it does not push. I am not pushing with my knife hand at all. All I do for the thumb push cut with my knife hand is guide the knife to slice through the timber. So as I'm pushing on the spine of the knife, or sometimes near the beginning of the handle of the knife, what I do with my knife hand is I very gently let it move downward. I let this hand slide downward as the thumb pushes forward. I don't pull hard downward. I just let my knife hand move in that direction as my thumb pushes slightly sideways. You can see my thumb is pointing to the side. I'm pushing a little bit sideways as I am working with my thumb push cut. And now we're going to look at that in a little more detail. When we want to do basic slicing with our thumb push cut, we have our thumb of our non-dominant hand pressing on the spine of the knife, pushing it forward into the timber. And we want to try and have a slight slicing action if we can get it. So we're going to, instead of pushing straight on the knife, we're going to push it ever so slightly sideways, and we're going to have the knife sitting at a little bit of an angle, so that we are able to get a little bit of a slicing action as we are using our thumb push from our non-dominant hand on the spine. We can also use the thumb push cut to go around tight curves with a lot of control, like we saw with the handle of our spatula. So if we check our blood circle, what we can do is, instead of working next to our handle of our knife, we can move up and put the thumb of our non-dominant hand near the beginning of the curved part of the blade. So this curved section going toward the tip is called the belly of the knife. And if we put our thumb on the spine of the knife near the beginning of that curve, of that belly, it allows us to go around curves much more effectively. So what we do is push with the thumb of our knife as we did before, push with the thumb of our non-dominant hand, I should say, as we did before, but we also pull our knife hand back. So if I hold my thumb again at the beginning of the belly, So the beginning of the belly is here, my thumb sits on the spine of the knife there. If I pull my knife hand back, I send the tip of the knife forward. And because we're pivoting, because we're rotating on the thumb of our non-dominant hand, it allows us to go in a very controlled way around curves, as so. And now we are going to look at this method of using the thumb push cut in more detail. When we want to do more detailed work with our thumb push cut, and particularly if we want to go around curves, we're going to move our thumb up to the beginning of where the belly starts. So the belly of the knife is our curved part here going up toward the tip. Our thumb sits at the beginning of where the belly is. And what we are going to do is, instead of just pushing with our thumb, with the thumb of the non-dominant hand, we're also going to pull our knife hand back. And in doing that, we're going to push the tip of the knife forward, which gives us a lot of control for going around curves. So pushing with the thumb as well as moving the knife hand back, which sends the tip of the knife forward. And that is how we can use the thumb push cut for more detailed carving work. And that is what we need for now.